Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I wanted to make a video today talking to you all about some books that I'm excited for that aren't released yet or have just literally been released and I haven't bought them yet. Quite a few of these are fiction because I'm reading loads of non-fiction recently, some aren't. Yeah, and I'm going to ask you guys again at the end so you remember, but I'm really excited to hear what everyone else is looking forward to coming out soon. I feel like autumn and the beginning of autumn is like peak reading season for me in terms of content of like dark creepy books, but also in terms of like the reading experience. It's one of my favourite times in the year, October. And as we're like heading into September, October, we're like getting to my favourite point in the year. So I'm going to show you the arcs I have at the moment first, and then I'm going to talk through the ones I have on my phone that I haven't requested or that have just come out and I haven't bought yet. First one I'm super excited for is the Transgender issue, An Argument for Justice by Shon Faye. If you don't follow Shon Faye on Twitter, she runs a fantastic Twitter account talking about all things trans, and this is her book looking at trans issues in the UK. Yeah, I'm so excited for this one, but I can't talk about it quite yet. So yeah, I need to read this one and align with timings. But I really like her. I think she's amazing on Twitter. I've never actually spoken to her, but I follow her and admire her from afar. So that's the first one I have. I'm really looking forward to. And the next two I have to talk about are recent releases, but I just haven't read them yet. But I'm super excited. First is Small Bodies of Water by Mingya Powles. And everybody's probably seen Let's Talk About Books Baby, Hannah. Her channel name's actually changed, so I will put it down below, talking about this book everywhere, and it just made me really excited for it. It's like you reach that critical mass of people saying it's good or mentions of it being good, and then you get more excited. So this is looking at her life through different literal bodies of water that she's been in, talking about wild swimming and exploring life and ideas around borders in respect to the bodies of water that she's experienced throughout her life. So yeah, this one is out. You can get this one now. I bought this one myself. If I didn't say, the Transgender issue was a review copy, but yeah, I just haven't read this one yet, but I'm really excited to. The next one that is out, I think came out in July, is Objects of Desire by Clare Sestanovich. And this is a collection of short stories. This one was sent for review. And this looks at women through all different stages of their lives. The stories that it mentions in here are a young student flying home, striking up an ethereal friendship with a couple on the plane. An office worker, exhausted by the ambitions of the man around her, emerges into the gridlock city one afternoon to make a decision, and a wife, looking at her husband's passwords neatly posted on the wall, realises there are no secrets left in their marriage. I haven't read a short story collection. It feels like in quite... Hi, Fuzz. Did you have something to say? Okay. I feel like I haven't read short story collections in a really long time, so Tom also thinks this is the one he would most want to read, though he won't read any of them. But I said to him, if they're films, which one would you want to read? And he was like, I think it's this one. So yeah, we'll see how I get on. I'm probably going to read this one fairly soon. Then I have 3 more, all of which are not out yet. So all of these were sent for review, and I'm so excited for all of them. The first one is not out until January, so this one's got a little while to go. But this is Hare House by Sally Hinchcliffe. And in the back it says, "There was nothing there, I thought, nothing but the shadows of the trees, my own imagination. It was only when it moved that I could make out the silent hare, turning and loping away into the dark." I think it's ghost stories and creepiness and maybe a touch of horror or harking back to kind of ghost story mansion type stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to read this one definitely in the autumn, so I'll share my thoughts on it. Maybe a little bit later on. Maybe end of September, just so it's not so far away. But I'm excited to see what I think of this one. It's been compared to The Lonely on the back, and whilst I didn't like The Lonely as much as I liked his next novel, I did really like it. It's one of my favourite folk horror genres, so that's made me super excited for this one. The next one I've been eyeing on Twitter and seeing everyone have proofs, and I get really self-conscious about asking for proofs when I haven't done it in a while, and I shouldn't, because it's mutually beneficial. That's the whole idea behind it, isn't it? It's not me just being needy and rude. But I do feel very I feel very like reserved. I don't tend to ask for a lot of proofs, so I did a little like Sophie Be Brave, which is where these have come from. Anyway, bit of an intro. I'm a little bit, I've just woken up, so I'm a little bit all over the place. This one is one that I saw on Twitter and I've seen in so many people's hands, and I was like, I really, really want this book. It's Dead Relatives by Lucie McKnight Hardy. This is a short story collection. It's like creepy, ghostly, frightening folk horror stuff, and I really like her. I loved her first book. I think it's going to be amazing. If I tell you what it says on the back, it says, oh, just so because I didn't say, her first book was Water Shall Refuse Them. That like balmy summer creepy one. And I just think this has been made for me. This is the same like style but in the autumn. So it says, Iris has never left the big house in the country she shares with Mammy and the servants. When the ladies arrive, she finds she must appease her dead relatives. Other stories in the collection explore themes of motherhood and the fragile body, family dynamics and small town tensions, unusual traditions and metamorphoses. So excited. I'm going to make myself like save these three to read together when we actually, oh, the last one's in my lap, but these three to read together once we get to like actual autumn. And then the last one is one that's definitely doing the rounds at the minute, everybody's quite excited for, and it's The Fell by Sarah Moss. I haven't read all of her back catalogue, and I know lots of people have, and maybe I should, maybe that's another thing I could do this autumn. But I have enjoyed the books of hers that I've read. I'm trying to think which ones it was that I've read of hers. So I have read the Tidal Zone and Ghostfall and Summer Water. So basically I've read her three newest, but I haven't read any of the like further back catalogue. The Fell, in case you haven't heard about it already, is about a woman who is in the middle of a 2-week isolation period because of COVID-19 in November 2020, who is just feeling totally cooped up by being at home and kind of just can't take it anymore. She lives somewhere fairly rural and decides to go for a walk on the moor behind her house, thinking, no one's going to know I'm gone, I'll be maybe an hour and I definitely won't see anybody, so I'm not going to put anyone at risk. But she has an accident, I assume she has a fall, when she's walking, and she's injured and nobody knows where she is and no one knows why she's not at home. I'm really excited for this one. Whilst it's COVID-y and I haven't ventured into COVID land yet, I really like that this is not the point of the book. It's just a thing that happens and then the plot is out. The plot is like, COVID is like the excuse as to why she shouldn't be at home, but it could be anything, couldn't it? So that one, yeah, it's very exciting, and I don't know whether it is going to touch on like how people might feel about the fact that she has left her home during this period, because as someone that lives in a rural area, I feel quite strongly that people have to follow exactly the same rules, even if in reality you could go on an hour-long walk and not see a soul. But I can also empathise with feeling cramped. I just wouldn't make the same quick decision. But yeah, I'm really excited for The Fell. Probably this is the book I'm most excited for out of all of them. But as I said, these three might come on honeymoon with me, which is only in flipping like 3 weeks. So I might hold on to these ones. So I have my like introduction to autumn be something I'm really excited for. Sorry, I know I'm talking like a dime a dozen. It's because it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning. And my brain is definitely like, I don't wake up easily, but then when I'm awake, all of the energy and mental capacity and creative work and intense work, everything happens in the morning. Like, I have loads of energies in the morning, can do all kinds of stuff in the morning, and then it just fades. So I'm a little bit hyper, which is my usual morning state. Okay, so I now have a little list of books that haven't been published yet. And there's one on here which has actually, it was published at the beginning of this month, but I just need to buy it. So that's why it's not, I don't own it yet, but I don't want to miss it. So obviously I'm excited for the new Sally Rooney. I had huge ARC fears about it. I know like they were very precious ARCs, and there was lots of like pressure around who was going to get them, and I didn't want to feel like I was adding to it, and I was like, everyone else should ask and I'll be fine, I can buy it. So I didn't ask. I'm really excited for it, I really wanted to read it, but I had like my own personal ARC fears, so I didn't. So I will buy it when it comes out. It's coming out on the 7th of September, so it's not even that long to wait now. But I'm expecting to like it, but it's been weird because I think there's been an embargo on reviews, so I haven't really heard what people think at the minute. The next one is another one from Dead Ink, who published Dead Relatives, and their wrapping is gorgeous. If they have a website where you can order their books directly, please do, they're gorgeous. But they're publishing another book that isn't out yet called Writing the Uncanny, by Dan Coxon and Richard V. Hirst. Uncanny stuff is things I love to read about in books. And they're talking about how the uncanny works in terms of horror, ghost stories, folklore and beyond, and like creating unsettling fiction, which is probably my favourite genre. It's also what I like to write. I've been writing a bit more. It was a short story originally and I liked it, and it wasn't the one I spoke about a little while ago, I think. Maybe I've just tweeted about it, but I got shortlisted for a short story prize, the Bath Short Story Prize. Sorry, longlisted for the short story prize. But anyway, it was a different short story and I was really excited to like share it with people, but whenever I shared it with anyone they were like, oh, I really like this but I want a novel of this. So I decided to try and start working on that again. But that book feeds really well into like everything I'm trying to do in the draft that I'm slowly chipping my way at. So yeah, I just feel like that one's going to be amazing, because even if I can't find value of it of what I'm trying to do, I can definitely find value in everything I love to read, so that one's really high on my list as well. The next one is a new Sheila Heti novel. She wrote Motherhood, which is one of my favourite books ever. I love Motherhood, and it's called Pure Colour. It has no cover, and it's not out until... When is it out? It's not out until February. I should have said, sorry, Writing the Uncanny is out at the 23rd of September, so not too long to go. So, Pure Colour. It looks like it's about climate change. It says, the world is failing to remain a world. Everything comes apart. The ice cubes are melting, species are dying, people too, just of different things. But what if this world is just a first draft, made by some great artist in order to be destroyed? It's a novel, so a woman like Mira leaves home to study and meets Annie. Her father dies, and then his spirit goes into her. It says it's a galaxy of a novel, explosive, celestially bright, streaked with beauty. It's a contemporary Bible, an atlas of feeling, an absurdly funny guide of the great and terrible things about being alive. I'm really excited. I feel like I ought to have read more of Sheila Heti's like back catalogue, having loved Motherhood so much. But that, like, any novel by her that's like kind of sneaky and not like totally out yet, there's no cover for, just made me feel very happy the other day. Okay, the next one I'm excited for is one that probably a lot of people have heard of more recently. It's Bewilderment by Richard Powles. So I want to find the overstory in something else that he's done. Basically, that's how I would describe my interest in this book. That book did so much that I adored, and I want to see him do that again. I know he's written so many things, but I've read another book he wrote and didn't rate it, but I adore huge fat science fiction, like not science fiction but fiction that has like scientists at its centre. It ticks like some enormous box in my head and I want to love it, and I want to love this one. It says that an astrobiologist, cool as fuck. I didn't want to do astrobiology, but I did go to uni to do some of astrophysics. I really like lenses and lights, so it was a bit boring. But cool, good job, interested. Theo Bine searches for life throughout the cosmos while single-handedly raising his unusual 9-year-old Robin following the death of his wife. Robin is a warm, kind boy who spends hours painting elaborate pictures of endangered animals. He's also about to be expelled from 3rd grade for smashing his friend in the face. As his son grows more troubled, Theo hopes to keep him off psychoactive drugs. He learns of an experimental neurofeedback treatment to bolster Robin's emotional control, one that involves training the boy on the recorded patterns of his mother's brain. In theory, this is like an amazing book that I cannot wait to read. I'm just a little bit tentative because I didn't like Glacier 2.2 and I didn't like it. I actively didn't like lots of the way that it was put together. So I'm anxious, but like I'm holding my excitement. I'm hoping I'm going to be proven right to be excited by that one. The next one I'm excited for has been released, so this is the one that is like in the pile that I just haven't bought yet. This one was published on the 3rd of August 2021, obviously, and it is The Turnout by Megan Abbott. I've never read Megan Abbott, but the presenters on What Page Pod love her, and this is a like creepy psychological thriller set in the world of ballet. I really do like reading about ballet, like it's like a random niche, like I wouldn't be interested in reading about ice skating, but ballet for some reason I am. And it seems like it's one of those like insular community novels that's then broken by something. So it says, it's a game-changing new novel set against the hothouse of a family-run ballet studio and an interloper who arrives to bring down the carefully crafted Eden-like facade. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one because if I like Megan Abbott, she has a really big like back catalogue that I could explore, and I also haven't like seen this one elsewhere yet, but I feel every time they talk about her or a book I think, oh, I should get that, and then this one I was like, oh, it's ballet too, like give it a go. If you don't like it, it's not the end of the world. I am excited for it because it feels like something I could like, and it could be like a whole new author to go back into, which is quite exciting. And the last one I have, I added to this list after I saw GK Reads video, which is like very similar, talking about 10 books she thinks you should know about at the minute. I'll link it down below. And this is Case Study by Graeme, Macrae, Burnet, and I'd not heard about this at all. Like this was completely just on the back of her video. And I'm going to read you what it says on the Goodreads because I think it's quite good. London, 1965. An unworldly young woman believes a charismatic psychotherapist, Colin Braithwaite, has driven her sister to suicide. Intent on confirming her suspicions, she assumes a false identity and presents herself to him as a client, recording her experiences in a series of notebooks. But she soon finds herself drawn into a world where she can no longer be certain of anything, even her own character. So I think this is a book about gaslighting by a therapist, which is why it intrigues me. I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out, and how it's kind of like written about. And I'm really hoping it's going to be good. It's a complete like flash in the pan. It has like no reviews back on there yet. It's like, I've literally heard about it once, but I am there for it. It's like, yes, I will put that on my list. So those are the things I'm excited for. I have been very excitable in this video, which I think has maybe detracted from the quality of the video, but I hope it's brought you maybe some joy and some like happy feelings, because I think when I watch people's videos and they're really happy, it makes me happy. Yeah, bit of chaos. Thank you all for watching, and I think I'm going to see you again in one more video, and then I will be off for my wedding, so I think I'm probably going to film one more video next Saturday. And then I will see you in September. Well, I'll see you towards the end of September if I'm honest. But yeah, it's going to be a busy time. Wish me luck, and I'll see you guys hopefully next week. Bye!